Yeah, that's right.
All right, ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, and... Hey everybody, it's my buddy Lance Gentry. I'm Mason.Oxendale. We are with Realty One Group.
Today, we're going to talk about what it really costs to buy a home. We're going to go through all the facts, cut out all the BS, and give you the best information we've gained from our experience working with buyers. It's time to spit some truth!
Yo, I ain't here for the money, I ain't here for the fame. Though it might be nice to own a jet.
So we're going to break it down into 2 different categories. One, we have our fixed costs, which is your earnest money, your home inspection, your appraisal, and your closing costs.
And next, we have your variable costs, which is your down payment. We're going to talk about all the different down payment options and what percentages they are, so you get all the information you need. The first cost we're going to talk about is your earnest money deposit. An earnest money deposit is a good faith deposit that you make after your home is under contract. It's basically letting all the parties of the contract know that you're serious about buying the house. Your earnest money deposit will, at the end of the escrow, go into your down payment. So you will maintain it, you'll keep it, it'll become part of your down payment. Earnest money deposits usually fluctuate based on the price of the home. We've seen anywhere from $500 to even up to $10,000. Normally, though, it's $1,000 to $2,000. And in this example, we're purchasing a home for $250,000, and we've put in a $2,000 earnest money deposit.
Okay, our second fixed cost is going to be our home inspections. So, during your 10-day inspection period, we do recommend that you hire and go get a home inspector. The home inspectors that we refer our clients to, they typically range between $245 to about $360, depending on the square foot of your house. So the bigger the house, the more expensive it is. And then you also have add-ons. So if your house has a pool or a spa, that's extra. If it's 20 plus years or older, that's going to be extra. If you want a termite inspection service done too as well, that's extra. And then any other, more in-depth inspections are going to cost you a little bit more. And so for this example, we have, for our $250 home, we do have a pool. It's around 2,000 square feet, so that's going to put us at a total of $450 for our home inspection.
After the inspection period ends, next comes your appraisal. So your appraisal all depends on the square footage of the home and the appraisal company your lender uses. So obviously the larger the home, the more square footage, the higher the price point. So generally appraisals run from $250 all the way up to $600. We've been seeing them in the higher price points lately. And so for this example, we're going to have our appraisal cost $500.
All right, so now we've made it to the end. It's time to go sign the papers and pay our closing cost fees. And to note too, as a buyer, you do not have to pay any of your buyer agent's commissions. Your buyer agent is paid by the listing agent, and they pay us because we brought them a buyer. So we are a free service to you, so it doesn't make sense not to go ahead and get yourself a buyer's agent, preferably one of us, but we're biased. So your closing costs, they consist of your loan fees, you have your prorated property taxes and insurance, you have all the title and escrow fees, you also have deed transfer fees, and if you have bought a home that's in an HOA, you have any of those association fees for transferring everything over. And so typically we see 3% of the purchase price is a safe bet on what you're going to pay. Typically they're not that much, but better safe than sorry. And also too, closing costs are one of the things you can negotiate within the contract, but that also varies depending on what's going on in the market and what your personal situation is.
All right, now we're going to talk about your variable costs. And really the only variable cost is your down payment. Now, there's tons of down payment options in the mortgage industry. So what'll happen is your mortgage lender, your agent, and you have a conversation about the best down payment options and the best available loan programs for you. Just some options. The bare minimum for an FHA loan is a 3.5% down payment. The bare minimum for a conventional loan is a 5% down payment. And the bare minimum for a VA loan is actually 0% down payment. Now, you can always put a higher percentage down if you'd like to. These are just the bare minimums, okay? There's also great first-time homebuyer programs and down payment assistant programs that your lender will talk to you about that may work for you. It will allow you to get into a home for cheaper closing costs, cheaper loan fees, and even a grant that will help cover your down payment and your closing costs. For this specific example, our $250,000 house, we are getting a 5% conventional loan that makes our down payment $12,500.
All right, so now here's a quick summary of all the fixed costs that we spent. So we spent $450 on our inspection, we spent $500 for our appraisal, and we ended up paying all 3% of our closing costs, will put us at $7,500. And in the beginning, we put $2,000 down of earnest money, but that $2,000 is going towards our closing costs. So we have a grand total of $8,450.
But if you've got yourself a good buyer's agent, you could possibly get your closing costs completely paid for, even partly paid for. But we'll say you have a great buyer's agent, you get your closing costs completely paid for. That leaves you with variable cost of only $950, your inspection fee and your appraisal fee.
All right, now we have our fixed cost total. So now all we have to do is add in our down payment, which was $12,500, which puts us at a whopping $20,950.
Unless you've got a brilliant buyer's agent like Mason or myself who can help you get your closing costs paid for, and then your total cost would be $13,450.
Now that sounds a lot better.
All right, guys, in closing, a couple things we've learned. You do not have to have 20% of the purchase price to purchase a home. You're not going to get in a home for absolutely $0, but it's almost always somewhere in the middle. Our example was a little on the high end, but there's tons of incentive programs, first-time buyer programs, and grant programs we talked about that can get you in for a much cheaper price than even our example. That's why it's very important you have a great lender, you have a great agent.
Yes, so if you have any further questions about what the different costs of buying a home is, definitely feel free to reach out to us because as a buyer, we are a free service to you. Peace.
Take care.